Okay guys, I'm here today with John Danaher, huge honor for me, Plácido. Guys, we are just shooting the new series of John, which is called the New Wave No-Gi Jiu-Jitsu. And this instructional video is going to be all about the new philosophy of the submission escapes for no-gi, which I believe is like one of the things that your squad does the best, John, like the ability to get out from submissions to go to submissions. So
there were some famous instances of my students being in very, very bad submission trouble, usually as a result of competing in an EBI competition. And at the end of EBI, if you don't get a complete win, you will start off in either armbar situations or rear mount situations. And my students had an incredible record of escape in these situations, particularly Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan. People often ask me, like, how do these guys get out of these submissions? It looks like their arms are going to break. Like, is this safe? Are they just letting things break? The answer is, yeah, there's a method to the madness. When you first look at it, I know you look at a video of Gary Tonin or Gordon and you're like, oh my God, what are these maniacs doing? And yet you clearly see right after the match, they're able to compete again within a very short time frame with no injuries whatsoever. I wanted to articulate to people what are they doing to get out of these positions, and I wanted to go further than that. We saw in the previous video on positional escapes, Bernardo, a new philosophy of positional escapes, which was the idea of distinguishing between satisficing mindset and maximizing mindset. I do exactly the same thing, but this time with submission escapes. Most people are just happy to get out of a submission. You get caught in a tight armbar, you get out, you're like, oh, thank God, okay? My philosophy is always based around the principle of extension. If you look at most of the main submission holds in Jiu-Jitsu, they require the other guy to extend his body in order to submit you, okay? If he extends his body and he misses the submission, he's in a state of extension. And in a state of extension, you can submit somebody. So say, for example, Plácido hits me in Juiz de Fora, the armbar. This requires that Plácido commit 2 extended legs on top of me, okay? If I should somehow work my way out of this position, he's in a situation where his 2 legs are extended right in front of me. And rather than just being happy with getting out of this position, I should be thinking in terms of counterattacking. So say, for example, I went into, say, an elbow escape out of here. Again, I locked up, lifted through, went into a high leg position and separated my training partner's knees like so. Once the knees separate, there's substantially less danger of me being broken in a position like this. It's a much less dangerous position now than it was a few seconds ago. As Plácido goes in to extend my arm, I want to focus on taking everything away from the directions he wants me to go. From Plácido's perspective, he always wants my right arm, in particular my right elbow, to go over his right hip and my right hand to go towards his right shoulder. As he lies down, that's what puts severe pressure on me and gets me to submit, okay? But if I take his legs and separate them, and I start bringing my right elbow to the left hip and my right hand to the left shoulder, that's the exact opposite of what he wants. This also creates a situation, because the knees are separated, that it's very easy for me, lock up tight, it's very easy for me to start playing hand control. And as a result, we can come on through and escape the elbow. Now, Bernardo, there's a critical tipping point, as you know, where once the elbow passes the line of his hips, there's no more danger. Once my elbow goes inside, I can give him my arm. You can do whatever you want, Plácido. There's nothing there. Okay? There's no pressure. And at this point, at that critical tipping point where his move has failed, I should be switching my mindset. I should no longer be thinking, oh, I got out, congratulations. I should be thinking, how am I going to get this guy back? Because he's got 2 extended legs that are wide open for attack. So there's no good reason why I can't come out and start putting myself in a position where we take advantage of those 2 extended legs. And from situations like this, it's pretty easy for us to come through and start controlling our opponent.
that's amazing, John.
Okay, he goes to turn away from us and finds himself in a situation where it's pretty easy for us now to come up and on the attack. If I find myself in a situation where I hit a turning escape and start moving away from my training partner, he goes after my arm, and I start that turning action that pulls us out, and from here there's no reason why we can't start drawing this fellow out, passing our legs through. Okay, and then from here you get right back into counter offense. Okay?
That's amazing. So from armbar to heel hook.
Yes. It doesn't matter what form of armbar. I can be in this closed guard, for example. When I see my training partner come through into Jujigatami here, if he extends me out, I'm done. Go back. But if I see my opponent lock on, say a top lock, for example, I get my arms in a defensive position, he goes through into his attack and runs onto a figure 4 defense. Okay, from here I bring everything over the head. When I start slipping my elbow out, I should be switching my mindset now. Okay, the armbar's failed, but what he's got 2 extended legs here. It's going to be very easy for us now to make a switch in mindset, where instead of just being happy with pulling out and say, hey, I got out, congratulations. Why not go the extra distance and start using this as a time to go into counter offense? And from here, we can turn this into something magical, where instead of being happy with just getting out, we start turning it into submission holds. Okay, you see this in so many different contexts. The guy's behind me, he's working with rear mount. Once we start looking, we start going out, winning battles for head position. Once we start slipping over our training partner, again, there's a critical point out of positional pins where there's no danger of a submission hold at this point. He goes into to finish me at the neck. I've changed the angle by getting my elbow to the mat, and from here he comes up on top and finds himself in a situation where it's so easy for us now to go into some kind of counter offense, which turns
from the back to the...
It doesn't matter where we are, okay? There's almost no submission hold where some kind of counter offense is impossible, whether it be a joint lock or whether it be an attack on my training partner's back. This guy's got me in Kimura, for example. Down here I'm in on a single leg, and from here he starts locking up. In situations like this, it's not so hard for us to start bringing our body out, and then from here coming around the corner and tighten up and find ourselves on our training partner's back like that Kimura. And from here we're in a situation now where we can start putting him into a situation where we can sit in and go into positional attacks, as well as straight to joint locks, etc., etc. So the big look in this video was the idea that why are we so satisfied with just getting out of submissions? Why is that the goal? When it doesn't cost you anything extra to go directly into a submission hold like this. There's almost no submission hold escape which doesn't offer the opportunity of counterattack. Remember, as we talked about last time, the wise words of Bernardo Hopkins, who said that a boxer is never more vulnerable than when he throws a punch. A jiu-jitsu player is never more vulnerable than when he goes for a submission. Because when it fails, you're extended.
Well, Joanne, just yesterday we were talking about like the worst feeling for any jiu-jitsu fighter is when you get the armbar, you were almost stepping the guy and he escapes. And now he comes against you.
Now he's coming right back at you, and you're like, "Oh my God, what is this? How is this happening?"
So, John, the goal here is always to find a way to get out of the submission and connect a submission right away.
There's going to be a critical point in any submission escape, and for want of a better term, it's a tipping point. Okay, where the whole focus has gone from defense into the possibility of offense. You show me any submission hold in the world, there's a critical point beyond which the submission simply won't work. Okay, so if I'm in an inside heel hook, for example, here, Placido's in a great position to break my leg. Okay, but if I can first, lock your hands, buddy. If I can first, in situations like this, start slipping my heel. Okay, if I can go into a defensive turn and I can find hamstring exposure on my training partner, I can get double hamstring exposure. From situations like this, I can start slipping my knee. Once my knee is outside of his knee line, there's no submission hold. There's nothing. Okay, why would I be satisfied with just getting out when with no extra effort whatsoever I can turn this into a submission on him? Plus, I can have my heel now. You can take it, buddy. It's going to give you nothing. Okay, it's gone. The more he fiddles around for it, the more opportunities we're going to get to go into counter offense. And from situations like this, his extended leg
amazing, John.
now go into situation. Now we can get counter offense. He's got to start turning away. We get in there and control the whole foot in place. You have a choice now between staying within side foot position and coming out, or you could just throw your legs. He goes to turn out and switch to outside foot position. We could get our head around and start locking up here. okay? And again, you're turning what was a few seconds ago a very defensive position into pure offense. All you have to do is locate what is that critical tipping point, and every submission has it. Okay, I don't care what it is. It could be anything from an armbar to an omoplata, a rear naked strangle, a guillotine. They all have a critical tipping point where the submission is gone. And that is where things get interesting, because 99% of the jiu-jitsu players will get to that point and stop.
Yeah.
And the only person making them stop is themselves, because they're conditioned to be happy with getting out. They're satisficers. 99% of the jiu-jitsu world is satisficer, okay? They're satisfied with a decent outcome. They get out, they're happy. Oh, I got out.
No, and I agree 100% with you, John, because I think we can even see like someone getting out of the arm bar and trying to pass the other guy's guard like as quick as they can because they're excited to get out of the arm bar. But very rare you see someone getting out of the submission and connect a submission.
Straight back into it.
Yeah. And I think even for the spectators, it becomes way more fun to watch because it's an exchange of submissions.
Yeah.
And I think this is what everybody...
It's exciting for the spectators. It's intimidating for the other guy.
Yeah.
If he's thinking like, dude, every time I try to submit this guy, he's coming back right at me with his own submissions. Pretty soon he's going to stop going for submission holds. He's going to play a more conservative game.
No, I agree.
Okay? Think about what it would be like going sparring in boxing with a guy who every time you throw a punch at him, boom, came right back at you. Pretty soon you're going to stop throwing punches. You're going to be like, let me just stay here in the corner. I'm not going to throw any more punches. Same thing with submission holds. Okay, Placido's got me in guard. Throws on a basic omoplata. Okay, there's a critical point here where initially I'm under control. Okay, but if I go into an outside shoulder roll on someone, it's not a difficult thing for us now to come around the corner and start turning this into counter offense. Okay, for every move in the sport, there's some kind of tipping point where you can go from defense to counter offense. And my question to the jiu-jitsu community is, why isn't this being done more often? Okay, it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, it's not like it's radically draining your energy. There's probably less movement involved in this than scrambling for a takedown or scrambling for the back or something like that.
Yeah. No, and John, just in the last video that I made, I said this, and I'm gonna repeat. Like, I truly believe that this is what differentiates your squad from everybody else, because this ability to connect submissions from bad spots. And I was even talking with Gordon the other day, asking like why he's so confident, and he was emphasizing to me like, on his belief of his escapes. Like, he truly believes that nobody can tap him and nobody can barely like score on him, and if they do, he has a way to escape to a submission. So I think that makes everybody so powerful that and I'm glad you're finally teaching it, because we didn't see that in Enter the Resistance.
Yeah, and Enter the System, we just looked at directly attacking someone. Okay, here they're in this position, I go in and I attack, and there's the sequence of attacks. Here we're looking at it in the context of position, in bad positions. Okay, he's going for a submission hold on me and I'm in trouble. How do we go out and turn it against him? People are always asking me, 10 minutes goes by and I just never seem to get any attempts at submission holds. I watch your students and they're going for submission holds every 30 seconds. How do they do it? It's because they look for more opportunities. Okay, there's always opportunities out there. Anytime there's extension, there's opportunities. And every time he goes to submit me, he's extended.
No, that's also true.
Take advantage of this.
And I think I'm a witness here to say that, guys, those submissions from everywhere. I saw you doing like guillotine escapes, omoplata, chokes from the back, strangles from the back. Pretty much everyone, like arm bar and the triangle and the heel hooks.
Any submission, and I'll show you a point in the submission where it switches from defense to offense, and then you get to that tipping point, you're going to have an extended body in front of you. And I'll say it right now, an extended body can be made into a broken body. Okay? Where you see extension, there's weakness. Where there's extension, there's vulnerability. An extended limb can be made into a broken limb. And my whole goal is to coach students to a point where they're not satisfied with just getting out. Get away from the satisficing mindset and start getting into the maximizing mindset. Don't be satisfied with good enough when a much better result costs you nothing extra and is right there in front of you. Okay, if it doesn't cost you anything extra, to come out of an armbar and attack him with a heel hook, why not do it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, but I think like nobody had this science, and especially for the no-gi, that I think you guys are still developing everything.
Yeah.
So guys, I think I truly believe that this is kind of like a new thing here, like how to escape from positions, connecting submissions, and so the next launch that we're gonna do for John is all about the new philosophy of escaping from submissions, going to submissions, and it's gonna be at BJJ Fanatics very soon. So make sure to check that out, and maybe by the time you're watching, it's already there.
A good way to think about it would be like in terms of a theory of counterattack. Okay, most jiu-jitsu players are not really strong counterattackers. They get attacked, they pull away. Whereas now we're trying to create a generation of students who, when they get attacked, they come right back at you with their own attacks. Once we get change the jiu-jitsu mindset along the lines of counterattack, you're going to see some very exciting matches. You're going to see submission rates radically increase. You're going to see, instead of in 10 minutes, maybe 2 attempts at submission, you're going to see 12 attempts at submission.
I agree.
And it's, whoa.
And I think that's what makes no-gi so exciting, because there are more submissions. And one of the big reasons is because I think this that you guys are doing, like the getting out from submissions, going to submissions. And so guys, make sure to check that out. We're super excited about it. We're finally back to the no-gi again. And thanks so much, John. Thank you, Placido.
Thanks, Placido.
Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTubeFaria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.